The No Money But Dreams podcast is for those millennial dreamers
who try to be in the top 1%.
It doesn't matter what we've achieved.
We wake up every morning with the mindset that we're still broke.
We welcome you on our journey in search of that home run.
Which can change everything.
Everything?
Everything. Welcome to another episode of No Money But Dreams. Today we've got a very special guest with us who I'll introduce in a second. And I'm really excited to get the chance to interview you today, Marwa, because you bring a completely new perspective to this podcast and hopefully to all the listeners. You are Emirati, you have lived here for a very long time, and you can give us
Making me sound old.
No.
Not that long.
Yes, you can give us a complete new perspective to, a lot of the foreigners which have joined the country. I've been here now 8 years with my family, and my wife, and our kids go to the same school. Yeah. So we'll go into a number of different kind of topics. Maybe to start with, if you could give us a little bit of a background of who you are as a person.
Okay, Tarek, so I met you guys even before you had the kids. I think when I met you, Tracy was pregnant.
Yes.
With the first child.
Yes.
So it has been 7, 8 years?
Yeah, there's 6, 7 years at least, yeah.
Yeah, so I have been working for 17 years. Like you said, I was born and raised in Dubai, Emirati. I come from a mixed family. My roots are Morocco, Sudan, but Emirati. I grew up here and I lived here all my life. I've been working in media for 17 years in the same company. I finished my studies in visual communication in the American University in Dubai, and then I did my master's in business admin. And television and media and art has always been my passion, so I wanted to pursue that as a career because I think anything else I would get bored of and then I will hate my life. So I picked something that I enjoy. So I started in Dubai TV as a graphic designer and then an art director, and I shifted departments, and right now I'm a producer. I produce shows and TV series, and also as a part-time thing I present art and culture shows.
Which is a very unique mix because you're in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Yes.
Which, after 17 years, you got to see the whole thing.
Yes.
Right. So that's a good introduction. But now tell us more about you. Who are you? Who is Marwa outside of work, outside of the day-to-days?
You know what? There is not a big difference between me at work versus me outside work. I try to maintain the same persona. I'm a mother. I have a 6-year-old son, single mother, just in case.
Yeah.
So I kind of maintain the same personality because I tried to be a different person. I have my own values and the way I see life, the things that I believe in. I'm a very spiritual person, and I try to have this distinction, wears different masks, mother mask, corporate career woman mask, my own life with my friends, and it was just very confusing and very hard for my soul. So I try to respect everyone and protect my own space, my own aura, and at the same time be who I am all the time.
Yeah, much easier to live life like this than having to pretend to be someone that.
I think that's the secret of happiness in life.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit more about. We came here 8 years ago, as I said, and we feel very welcomed in the country. And you can't speak for every Emirati in the country, but you know the culture much better than we. Tell us a little bit more about, how does the population which is from the country view everyone else coming in and the country changing at such a fast pace? I know that, the ruler is loved by everyone, not just Emiratis, also the expats. Everyone love the rulers and love where the country is going. And I feel in the last 2 years or during COVID, Dubai kind of became the center of the world, and so many more people are coming, not just to visit anymore, which everyone was doing before, but a lot of people are realizing, actually, this is a great place to live and to bring up your kids and to do your business.
Okay, so I think you and the whole world has noticed that Dubai right now is there is a lot of energy that has shifted to Dubai. Everybody's talking to Dubai about Dubai. Everybody's curious to move to Dubai. And for me, as an Emirati who grew up and lived all my life here, I could see the transition. It's crazy because when we were growing up, it's like it was growing with us, but it was like at speed 60 and then speed 80. And then in the past 5, 6, 7 years, it's like speed 200. You know what I mean? You see the growth so fast and you have to keep up with it. We don't have a choice. You can't resist because if you resist the change, you stay behind. You're saying Dubai is welcoming all the expats. Of course, we are a very welcoming culture. We love everybody and we respect everybody. And again, I'm speaking for myself, and I have a lot of expats. Actually, most of my friends are expats because that's the whole point of being in this world. Because Dubai is opening up, it's welcoming people, and it's part of the strategy of the rulers to open up, to learn from you guys, and you learning from us, and we work as one because we are one by the end of the day. We share the same kind of unity. We're part of this world where whatever affects one country automatically affects the whole universe, whether you accept it or you don't. Wars, strikes, natural disasters. It happens even if it's happening in a different continent, you're still getting affected directly. So I think Dubai has figured out this kind of formula. So we're opening up, we're accepting everyone and everything. If you were here in Ramadan, you were here for 8 years, right?
Yes.
So this year, this Ramadan, everything was open, right? Like drinking, restaurants, clubs, beach clubs, DJs. Because if you choose to fast, everything is there. If you choose not to fast, everything is still there. And I love that.
Yeah, I remember my first kind of couple of years when you would go to the mall, everything would be, the food courts would be blocked and stuff. And now after COVID, you don't realize that there's Ramadan anymore, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people that haven't necessarily been here or haven't been here and experienced the welcoming nature of the people here, they always ask, isn't it weird living there in an Arab state with, a lot of Muslims? And once they come to Dubai and they see actually how it is, people, Dubai could be in London or Dubai could be in Paris. It's just another great big city that a lot of people enjoy living in.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. It must have been such a big change. For me, in the 8 years, Dubai has changed so much. So for you, it must, from literally, some people that have been here 30, 40 years, they tell me that going to, Emirates Golf Club used to be crazy. It's so far away, and now it's in the middle of Dubai.
Yeah, and you have so many options right now. There is options for everyone. There's this project in Abu Dhabi where they built a mosque, a church, and
synagogue
next to each other.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yes.
It's a symbol that everything is available for everyone. Whatever your belief, whatever your religion, whatever cultural background, what you like to do, your career, everything is available here, and it's beautiful.
And the really interesting thing from the government at the moment, and I've got access to this kind of information, is that they're doing so many trade agreements with so many different kind of countries. And what I've noticed, which I didn't know before, but they literally go everywhere, whether it's Turkey and so many different players are coming in, and they're not saying no to anyone, like you said at the beginning, which is, that's so inspiring to be so open, because in the West, or where I come from, it's a lot more complicated to do something like this. But here there is a vision and people are really going after this. And I think now people from outside look at the UAE as an example to emulate and to something that is going really well. Whereas before, it was always the expats are coming here and they're helping the country. I think now people are looking at the rulers here and the leaders and are saying, wow, how they're implementing the things are just amazing to witness.
Yeah.
For us.
And you will always have these kind of pessimistic people and negative people who will try to throw shades and say like, oh, but it's really hot, it's the desert, I can't tolerate being here in the summer. But like, this is like me complaining about not being able to tan in Norway in the winter, you know. It's
Exactly.
just, you know, it's just the nature of the place that you are in.
Yes.
And everything comes with like pros and cons. Yes, summer here is very hot. Like, even Europe. Summer is very hot in Europe right
Yes,
now.
and they don't have AC like we have here.
They don't have ACs. There are certain like rules and regulations that a lot of the expats complain about, but you also have rules and regulations in Europe, in the US, everywhere in the world. So you will always find these kind of people, but like whatever, you just like.
Yeah, I mean, you make it your own, right? You make your own Dubai, you make your own Los Angeles, you make your own London. I mean,
Yeah.
you also in London, you cannot go everywhere because it's not safe, right? Dubai is such a safe place. I was speaking to my sister-in-law before, and she said, look, I can go out at 3 a.m. in the morning, I never even have to think about safety.
Yeah.
Whereas in London, it was completely different,
Same.
which is such an amazing thing.
Yeah, I travel sometimes alone, and I leave my son with his nanny, but can never happen anywhere else in the world. You know,
Yes.
It feels so safe.
Yes, exactly. So that's a really cool point. Before we started recording, you told me about, you know, when we talk about Emiratis as expats, I feel like a lot of generalization is happening. From your perspective, tell me a little bit of, you know, the different kind of facets and people, how they can be open to this and be more engaging with Emiratis.
Okay, I'll tell you something. I have a lot of expat friends who, when they first come to Dubai, the first thing they tell me, oh, we heard that you can't date Emirati women. You get killed, or you get killed by the brothers, or you get sent back home. I was like, where did you get this story from? Like, what is this? So as I was saying before, it's a scheme, right? So you can't really generalize because we have like so many shades of Emiratis. You have, when we discuss, most of the times, like we're discussing either the black and white, or Emirati do this, Emirati don't accept that. But there's so many Emiratis who come from mixed parents, who come from different educational background. They get sent outside the country. They have this Western way of thinking. So when I speak about my experience, my surroundings, nature and nurture, the kind of people that I grew up with and the people that I hang out with. You have people who are very open and very welcoming, fluent, multilingual, fluent English, and you have the ones who don't speak Arabic, who don't speak English, and they still try to hold back to the old ways of living and thinking and traditional, like cousins marriage. You still have that, and you also have the ones who are very liberal and open-minded. Yes.
And you're clearly on the more liberal kind of side, and you integrate yourself with all the new people that are coming in. Like you're the perfect, symbol of what Dubai is like, because that's how Dubai is, right? You're welcoming everyone, and then you choose who you want to hang out with and how you want to conduct your life.
I mean, that's the way to live a happy life. If you try to resist, like, we were programmed by our parents, right? Everybody were programmed by their parents. So my parents are traditional, you know. They grew up in 60s, 70s, so they're very traditional. They still have the old way of doing things. Have a saving account, secure a 9-to-5 job. I remember when I entered university in 2007, everybody was doing IT. And my dad was pushing me so hard to do IT. I was like, he was like, yeah, that's the way if you want to secure a nice career. Now with Chat GBT, and honestly, half of these jobs don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So I tried to. It took me very long to become who I am. And one of the things that I did after I separated from my ex-husband is I moved out from my parents' house, because I didn't want the traditional, the classic way of the way they raised me to be affected or rubbed off on my son. I wanted to have my own space, to give him the teaching that I think is correct for him, and then let him be and choose who he wants to be. So
And how is that family dynamic? Because I imagine, I mean, it's the same in my household, right? My parents are more conservative, and you know, I married a half Nigerian, half British woman, which, you know, to an Arabic father was difficult at the beginning to accept, and now they love each other. But how do you see in your own household this kind of struggle of the new kind of generation, or a different shade of Emirati with the old kind of parents?
Like I told you, like they have to adapt. They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They just have to roll with it, or like just stay where they are. And you know, I was discussing this with one of the parents at my son's class. We were discussing the educational system, that it has to change for our children. They have to stop forcing the old way of. So, what do you want to become when you grow up? You know, like they implant the fact that you have to be an employee to somebody to be successful in life. So that this has to change, and this was one of the things that I struggled with. I'm still working for a company 9 to 5, but I really want to change this, and I want to change this for my son and for the children. You know, it's not the only way. And this is one thing very interesting that the government has realized. I don't know if you know about this, and maybe a lot of people don't know about that. They recently announced a new law for government employees, Emirati government employees. If you want to start your own business, they give you I don't remember if it's a 6 months leave or a 1 year leave with like a basic salary, where you can focus on making your own business. So you still have a secure kind of income. You don't have to quit your job, and you can work on establishing a business on the side. And I think that's great.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that the country is really pushing for now, to
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship, get more people, more Emiratis, but also more people from outside to come and create businesses. And you can see, I mean, if you look at America, if you look at California, or if you look at, you know, the UK, there's so many interesting ideas that people are working on. And I feel that the UAE is perfectly placed here in the region to take advantage of all these people, because they have created a holistic kind of living environment where everyone wants to be in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Saudi is trying to catch up in this, and they're trying to kind of copy what the UAE is doing. But the UAE already has this established kind of way of doing, and they keep pushing and keep reinventing how they can spur this even more. I mean, I think in my industry, you know, in finance, 2 years ago when they came out with a new regulator trying to regulate cryptocurrencies, and trying to get all the big kind of companies to come here. Now they have Binance, Crypto.com, okay, so many different exchanges are actually setting up their regional or even global headquarters in the UAE. I mean, this is fantastic. Like 2 years ago, that didn't exist. And everyone is trying to get these businesses to come to them, and the UAE has succeeded in this, and then they go to the next one. And there's the next Gen FDI initiative going on, which we're actually part of. And the minister there is actually pushing so much for so many different businesses to come, for the UAE to grow. And you know, I'm in the same boat as you. I still work for other people, and you know, you are a very creative person outside. Maybe we can go into this a little bit as well, what your other kind of interests are that you're pursuing through your creativity, and where you could potentially also see for yourself where there could be a way for you to do something that is different than being employed by someone, and getting even more I would say responsibility and accountability towards your own life, and being a role model to your son and to the new kind of generation that comes after.
So one of the things that I'm working on right now, you know, I'm an artist, you know that, right? So one of the things that I'm working on this year, and I will release it before end of the year, is my first collection of NFTs. So I commissioned somebody who's based in Milan. She's already doing NFTs for fashion.
Okay.
And again, at the beginning, I was very pessimistic about NFTs, but then I was like, you know what, it's going nowhere. And like, I'm gonna start having my own like virtual galleries, and I'm almost halfway through with my collection. It's taking longer than I expected, but I'm very happy with it. So I think that's the way of my way of thinking has shifted. And at the beginning, I wanted to do children books, and like I'm still thinking about like the materialistic way of doing things, an art gallery, renting a gallery. But then I was like, I need to go with the trends, you know, roll with the trends. So maybe collaboration with fashion NFT designers. So yeah, that's my next project.
Yeah, I mean, we have in our house, we have one of your earlier projects, which is one of the coloring books that
Yes.
you did for my kids. They absolutely love this. And I've seen, obviously, some of your work, very, very creative. And I'm sure that when you put your mind to something, it will be interesting. I mean, even if you fail, you know, this is another thing which I think in the US they do very well. They encourage people. It's you fall down, you get back up, and you try again, right?
Yeah.
Which in Europe that doesn't exist. If you fail, you're a failure. You get a stamp and you're like a failure.
Yeah. You know, Tarek, like recently my mindset, I have been doing a lot of like self-growth, and I don't believe anything is failure. Nothing is failure. Even if you get like 0 in your exam, it's not failure. It's taking you towards the right path. And so many times where something doesn't work out, or like you meet somebody, let's say for a relationship doesn't work, it always leads you to where you should be going.
It's a stepping stone towards the right direction. The worst thing is that you just don't even try. If you're not trying, then you can't get there.
Yeah. Then I heard a very interesting quote. So the guy said, the author said, a lot of people die at 30 and get buried at 80. So, you know, you stop working on your dreams, you stagnate in one place when you're 30, probably like a full-time job that you hate, and then you live the same day every day for the coming 60 years, and then you die at 80. And this is something that we have to be aware of. And it's, you know, it's like when somebody asks you, how is it like living in Dubai? You know what you should ask them? How's it like living where you came from? If you said, oh, miserable, I don't like people are not friendly, there's cameras there. So what I learned is I will tell them, yeah, okay, so you're gonna have the same experience, because it's not the place, it's you. It's the way you think, the way you observe people, and you attract who you are. If you're attracting scammers and like negative people, wherever you go, it doesn't matter whether you're in Dubai, Europe, in America, you're still gonna be that person. Yeah. So it all starts with the mind and changing your mindset and who you are. Dubai is great if you have a great mindset, and if you take advantage of the opportunities, the people, you meet the right people, you attract the right kind of energy, the right kind of opportunities. And a lot of people don't have a good experience in Dubai because of the way they think. So they attract what they think, who they are.
That's such a beautiful saying. And whenever I speak to my friends or people back home or wherever they are, and they ask me, I give this example of, you know, Dubai gives you a vase full of diamonds, right? And you try and put your hand in it and try and get as many diamonds out, right? But at the top, it's harder to get your hand out, right? Yeah. So if you're not patient, you can come out with nothing. Yeah. And that's up to you. But the diamonds are there for you to grab. So the upside in Dubai, because of the way that it's structured, no tax, so easy to open a business, so much access to different kind of markets from here, you can create this for yourself. But if you always look on the negative side, or you always find excuses, then you won't be happy in any of the places. I couldn't have said it better than how you said that. That's very good. So where do you see, I feel like this energy of where you want to get into a point where you're leading your own kind of business and you're doing your own kind of stuff in that. Why is that so important for you?
I think with independence, so when we chase, a lot of people think that they're chasing money. I don't think they're chasing money. They're chasing the absolute freedom. When you have, with money comes the freedom of being, this world is so big, and I feel like you have to see everything and be everywhere. So with money comes freedom, and with freedom comes the opportunity to explore everything around you, you know, and be wherever you wanna be. So for me, it's not about making money. It's about having the freedom that the money brings, and being able to get whatever you want without even looking at the price tag.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my goal.
That's a pretty good.
Walking into like the Dubai mall, I say, give me this.
Yeah, that would be a nice feeling. Yes. That's nice. And you know, I think one of the other misconceptions by some people is that you know, Emiratis may not work as hard, or they're government jobs and they're easy kind of jobs.
Yeah.
I have met so many people here that are very different. And again, there's the different kind of shades. But give me a little bit of your kind of understanding, because I know you have shoots, you know, starting from 6 a.m. in the morning till late at night. Give me a little bit of flavor there.
So, I mean, that has changed, you know, because before, like 10 years ago, everybody thought that, oh, Emiratis, they get support from the government, they get free housing, even when they get married, they give them allowance. But these things has changed, right? You have to work for everything. If you are not a dedicated employee, if you get if you didn't meet your KPIs by the end of the year, even as an Emirati, you can get fired. So this has changed, and I think it's good, because you have to be competitive in such a market. Like, you can't create so much discrimination between Emiratis and non-Emiratis. If your goal is to make Dubai even greater than what it is right now. So these things has changed. Yes, before it used to be the case where Emiratis are so laid back, they feel like secured, they feel like they can never lose their jobs. But I mean, if anything we have learned from COVID is nothing is secure. And nothing is safe like 100%. You can lose everything like that. So yeah.
I appreciate you for being very open and honest about these things, because they're not easy subjects to discuss. But that's great that you're open about this. So what else do you want to tell me that other people should know about either the country or you as a person, or Emiratis as a you know, as a part of the population that lives in Dubai, like myths that you keep hearing that you want to bust through here? Okay,
so for non-Emiratis, if they date Emiratis, they're not going to get killed by anyone or sent back home. As long as it's, you know, it's mutual. And so if, I know in some European countries, or I don't know, but like if an expat marries an Emirati, they don't get the nationality, the citizenship. The kids are entitled to get it once they become 18 years old, not before that. What else? What would you like to know? I think that's a better question. Because there's so many things, and you have been here for 8 years. So tell me things that you're curious about.
I mean, I've got a little bit of an insight, because we have a burger shop that caters to Emiratis, which you have been to. And, you know, the kind of consumption patterns, or like, you know, I feel like in the summer, everyone moves to London or to Europe to do their holidays, including me. You know, everyone wants to get out. But what are some of the things, you know, when we look, you always look at Dubai and you see a lot of fast cars, you see the number plates, you see those kind of things. What do you feel like there is interesting to someone that is from outside, that is not really like it?
But you know, you see that also in some European cities, right? If you go to Monaco or like Cannes or Lugano, you see a lot of like fancy cars and women with like designer bags and stuff. So it's not just Dubai, it comes with wealth, and there's a lot of wealthy cities around the world. I mean, the thing is, a lot of, not just Emiratis, but like Dubai kind of give you the pressure of showing off. So a lot of people are on credit card debts, including some of my very close friends. A lot of boutiques now offer the option of purchasing with installment, which I think is ridiculous. You know, you buy a designer pants or designer bag with a monthly installment. What is that?
Yes, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't buy it.
You know, I mean, you know, if you can't afford it twice, you shouldn't buy it, not just once. You know. So, so that's the thing. It's the pressure, and honestly, before it used to be more among girls. Now I see it more with boys. Like I feel like boys feel like they need to show off and flex more than women. Because that's the way to get like women, right? To get girls. If he looks wealthy, he has a higher chance. So yeah.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, this pressure, a lot of people, especially, you know, if you're an expert, maybe I'll tell you my perspective. If you're coming from the UK or from anywhere in the world, you're coming here, and you all of a sudden you don't pay tax anymore. You probably are better off than you were in your home country.
Yeah.
You come here and you start spending money, and then you see in Dubai there will always be people that are richer than you.
Yeah.
This is by default. In your home country, maybe you're the richest guy in town, but here there's always people that have more money than you. And if you succumb to this feeling like, oh, you start comparing yourself to other people, this can go very bad in Dubai, and the credit card debt is very bad.
And rich is such a relative term, right? Maybe for me, having $1 million is rich. Maybe for you, it's like having $10 million is rich.
Yeah.
You know, so it's such a relative term. So that's correct. Like when I go to during school pickup, you know, you see like the cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Rolls Royces. So my son is always like, Mommy, I don't like your car. I was like, why? He's like, no, I don't like it. It's not nice. You need to change it. Get a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari, you know? So even like the pressure is going to the children as well.
Yes. I mean, I feel when some people drop off their kids completely decked out for the day with the best cars that are there, and that creates this kind of pressure. And if you succumb to it, then yes, it will get difficult in Dubai because,
But it's like, maybe it's like the good kind of pressure because you want to be able to achieve that. Right?
That's exactly what you said earlier. If you look at this and say negative things about this, you will never get there. If you say, hey, that's amazing that this person has achieved this, and I'm going to get there in my way as well.
You know, I don't remember, was it Steve Harvey? I saw it on YouTube. There was a video where I think it was Steve Harvey. He said, book yourself a business class ticket or a first class ticket, even for once. Do whatever it takes for you to do that. Because once you put yourself in that mindset, you would always want to fly business at first, and then it will make you it will push you to work harder.
I've had that experience. I first flew first Emirates to Melbourne, 14 hours, and when the guy comes and asks you, when would you like to shower? That's just a strange thing to do in an airplane, but once you have experienced that, you want to do that again. And then last year to the World Cup, I flew with a private jet there. Once you're in a private jet, you really don't want to go.
Yeah, you don't want to do commercial anymore. Like, okay, I want my own private jet now.
Exactly. So Dubai allows you to start dreaming a lot bigger because there's just always bigger, and the city is trying to, we have the tallest tower in the world, all those kind of things. They're trying to push you, and that's how people should look at it.
Tarek, I don't know if you're into like meditation and yoga and this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know that part of you.
It's very difficult for me to keep my brain quiet and do meditation. For me, meditation is like when I work out, then I'm at peace. Like I get very quiet, but just sitting is very difficult for me. I tried, and I probably should do more. I've done yoga a couple of times. I actually find yoga very tough. It's a very tough workout. But meditating by itself is too hard for me at the beginning.
I started very recently actually, and it was not yoga, it was like healing and spiritual kind of like sessions where it puts you in like oneness with the universe, and it teaches you that you are infinite, and it's in alignment with the whole Dubai vibration, because Dubai has right now there is such a huge energy shift towards Dubai, and for us, the people who try to resist it, you feel like they're anxious, they're not comfortable, they're like, because they're resisting the change. You can't resist this kind of change. You have to be like in the oneness of the universe, right, and the world. And also there is this book of the 5 a.m. Club. Did you read it?
No.
Okay, it's a very good one, and it. I'm not a very religious person, but like it made me believe that these kind of like spiritual talks, it made me feel like we are all kind of praying or worshipping the same life or God or whatever you want to call it, because there is so much similarities in terms of like education. In this book, the 5 a.m. Club, it says that there is a huge energy shift that happens when the sun is rising. That's why you need to be awake. We have the Fajr prayer, at this time that you have to be awake to pray around this time. Most of the yogis and people who meditate wake up before sunrise. If you're doing pilgrimage, if you're like in the Himalayas praying, they all make it a point to wake up before sunrise. So there is a huge energy shift that happens around this time. Why am I saying this leading to Dubai is, if you want to achieve something, you have to be in harmony with who you are and with the universe. And that will put you in the mindset to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life, you know. If you are like trying to, you know, like when you set your goals like in like December, oh, for next year I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might work, it might not work, but it will work if you put the same energy and vibration to it and really believe that you have it, and that it would work. I strongly believe in that.
Yeah, I mean, energy is something that is so important. If you've got the right energy around you, you attract the right kind of people, you attract the right kind of projects that you want to work on. And I didn't read the 5 a.m. club, but I am in the 5 a.m. club because for me, the mornings are so important. If you wake up early in the morning and you go and work out, you work on what is important for you, and by 9 a.m. when most people start going to the office and that kind of stuff.
Already like midday.
Yeah, exactly. You've had 4 hours and you feel like I've already achieved what makes me feel good. You know, I've worked out, I've done this, and that just sets the day off right.
Yeah, I went 2 days ago. We woke up very early, me and my son. And there is this bakery that makes like flatbread with cheese.
Oh.
And we went and we had that like 6 in the morning. It was amazing. It was such a nice bonding experience with my son. You know? So, you know, like wealth is not just financial. It's emotional. It's you spending time with your kids, spiritual. So there's so many layers of success.
Yes, you don't want to be one-dimensional and just think about, you know, money and wealth and that kind of stuff. Like family and bonding and spending time with friends. This is the thing that in Dubai is so amazing. Like when you go to the beach on a weekend for 2 days in a row. One day, okay, but if you go 2 days in a row and you come back, you feel like I've gone on holidays and I've completely reset and I'm back. You know, whereas in Europe you have to travel, like you have to fly to places before you can experience this. This is so amazing here that there's so many different facets of Dubai, and you can literally pick and choose what you like to make it your Dubai and your
100%.
Happiness.
And you know, I don't like to travel in the summer. Like most summers I choose to be in Dubai because, you know, everybody goes away in the summer. So there is like, I don't need to make reservation in restaurants, you know, I can go to whatever.
Malls are empty.
The malls are empty, the parkings are empty, so it's the best time to be in Dubai actually.
Wow, I don't think that I've ever heard that from anyone that lives here.
I'm
that
telling
wants
you.
To be here.
And like there's ACs everywhere, like, and you go from basement to apartment, from apartment to basement to mall basement, so you don't really get to walk outside so much.
In the 8 years that I've been here, one summer I did here in 2020 when you couldn't fly anywhere.
COVID, yeah.
And the other summers I've dipped in and out, gone and come back. But even with the summers, people always portray this to be such a problematic thing. As you said, everything is AC. It's very easy to stay here. And if you think about your own situation, if you live abroad, your winters are not really enjoyable either. You know, they're wet, they're cold, they're all of that, and you stay at home, which is which is very normal to do here in the summer as well. You move around, but you don't go out every day for a 2-hour walk because it's too hot, right? So it's relative. It's just different kind of seasons. It's like in Australia, they now have their winter, which is kind of like the European summer, and in the winter it's really hot for them. So it's just. You either make the best out of it or you don't.
Yeah, you just have to adapt, you know. Even like in London in winter when it's raining, like I enjoy the rain, you know. I enjoy I've been to Norway in the winter when it was like minus 21 degree, and I enjoyed it, you know. Okay, it was hard to take pictures because, you know, the minute you move your hand out of the gloves, it freezes. But you just have to learn how to enjoy everything.
Yeah. Marwa, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your perspective on Emiratis, on you as a person, and as the country is progressing and where we're going.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.